This is the verb secarse, to dry oneself off, in the preterite. Now remember, preterite means it happened one time in the past, like yesterday I dried off after I swam. How are we going to remember that secare is to dry? Well, see the word car? Sometimes after you wash your car, you'll take a towel and you'll dry it off. And your neighbor comes up and says to you, say, why are you drying your car with a towel? And you say, well, so you don't get water spots. It's true. If you just let your car air dry, sometimes you get water spots. But if you, they say it's a good idea to dry your car with a towel. So secare is to dry someone or something else off, like to dry your car. Secarse is to dry oneself off. It's reflexive. You do it to yourself. Now, I'm going to say all 5 forms of the verb in English and Spanish and clap, and then I'd like you to repeat it with me. Ready? I dried off, me sequé. I dried off, me sequé. You friend dried off, te secaste. You friend dried off, te secaste. He dried off, se secó. He dried off, se secó. We dried off, nos secamos. We dried off, nos secamos. You guys dried off, se secaron. You guys dried off, se secaron. Notice, it's an AR preterite verb, so you chopped off the AR and you added E, ASTEO, AMOS, ARON. No worries there. Okay, and you have an accent over the yo form and the he form. Remember I said one of the most important chants in Spanish too? If it ends with an E, it was done by me once with an accent. If it ends with an O, it was done by Joe once with an accent. So these forms are easy, but the yo form is tricky. You don't just chop off the AR and add an E, you chop off the CAR and you add QUE. Now I've got a clip that's called car-gar-zar. You might want to check that out if you're not familiar. I call them car-gar-zar verbs. Verbs that end in car, like buscar, you chop off the CAR and add QUE. Verbs like llegar, to arrive, you chop off the GAR and add GUE. And verbs that end in zar, like alcanzar or almorzar, you chop off the ZAR and add CE. Now, the only form of a car-gar-zar verb that's tricky or irregular in the preterite is the O form. And again, that's true for a lot of verbs. A lot of times, the only form that's tricky or the most irregular form of the verb is the O form. Why? Because it's used the most. And again, sequé means I dried off my car or I dried off somebody else. Me sequé is I dried myself, okay? It's reflexive. What 5 things does say turn into? Me, te, say, nos, say, hooray. Take it down now. Me, te, say, nos, say, hooray. And again, if you're confused by reflexive or confused by car-gar-zar verbs, you might want to check out those clips. All right, that's secarse, to dry oneself off, in the preterite.